Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the third upload to the channel today. Lots of important news has been coming out over the course of the past 24 hours, but I would argue that this video is the most important of the three videos today, because we're going to be going over the massive update that Treyarch has released, which changes a lot of what we can see here within Black Ops Cold War. I'll have a link to the full patch notes down in the description, but here in this video, we're going to be covering all of the important changes, so hopefully you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's kick things off here today with everybody's favorite topic, which of course is weapon balance. I know this is not the best way to start the video off. It's going to put a very negative tone towards the rest of the video, but the rest of the video is actually pretty good. But this part, not so much. So recently, as you guys know, Treyarch nerfed the MP5 submachine gun. They nerfed its range by 33%, and they also gave it more recoil. Well, apparently, today, they accidentally reverted those changes back to how they were at launch, and therefore the MP5 is just as strong now as it ever was. They claim they're going to be fixing this soon, but yeah, I figured I should mention that because if you're getting beamed by the MP5 again, well, this is why Treyarch apparently done goofed when they pushed through this new build for Black Ops Cold War this afternoon. Now moving along here, the Famas has also been nerfed. They gave it more recoil and reduced its maximum damage as well as its maximum damage range. This gun is definitely one of the most popular weapons to use in Black Ops Cold War. In fact, it was my first ever gold weapon in the multiplayer, but sadly it did receive a nerf today, but honestly it was pretty warranted. It was a really good gun. Next up here we have the M16. It also received a nerf today. They reduced its maximum damage range and they increased its sprint to fire time. They increased the delay in between bursts, and they also rebalanced how some of the attachments are going to increase its fire rate and increase its hip fire accuracy. Now if you're like me, you're probably sitting here wondering why nerf the M16, right? The AUG seems like a better all-around burst rifle, but the AUG also got nerfed. So what they did to the AUG rifle is they reduced its maximum damage range by 20%, they slowed down its sprint to fire time, they increased its delay in between bursts, and just like the M16, they reduced the effectiveness of the fire rate and hip fire improving attachments. Now the other two tactical rifles in the game have also been changed, but this time they got buffed, right? The Type 63 and the DMR 14 both received a buff to their base fire rates, which is pretty good all around. Now moving along here, the M60 Light Machine Gun has also received a buff. Treyarch decided to increase its maximum damage range and its default movement speed, which is pretty nice. I personally haven't used the M60 yet, but it's nice to know once I finally make my way to using that gun to get dark matter, it's going to be better than it was at launch. But unfortunately, that pretty much does it for the primary weapons here within the game. Now it is worth mentioning that all of these sniper rifles have been changed to have a smoother animation when going from sprinting to firing, and each sniper rifle in the game has had their idle sway attachments fine-tuned, quote-unquote, to make each sniper feel more unique. Now moving along here to Secondaries, the Magnum received a buff to its fire rate, a buff to its maximum damage range, and they even made the visibility a bit more clear after firing your first shot. And the Spaz 12, unsurprisingly, I don't understand this whatsoever, but the Spaz 12 has received a nerf to its damage range. That makes sense, honestly. I don't get how this has happened since the alpha and the beta and the full launch of the game. If you guys watch my live streams, which I stream like 5 to 8 hours of Cold War every single night, the Spaz has been my secondary on virtually every single class. Ever since the alpha, I said that the Spaz was like busted in this game. It is so good. Like if you're in a room with somebody and they have a Spaz, you pretty much lose, and they're just now finally starting to realize how good the Spaz actually is. They nerfed its damage range, which is honestly warranted, and that's coming from somebody who loves the Spaz and uses it on virtually every class in the game. Now moving along here to map changes, Treyarch decided to fix an issue on Garrison, where apparently when you're crouching through that underneath section, you would occasionally bump into players that are above you. Apparently that's been fixed, but unfortunately that pretty much does it for map changes here in Black Ops Cold War. Like I just mentioned, going back to the alpha and the beta, if you're like me, you've always wanted them to do something more about the bushes on Cartel, right? But Cartel remains unchanged. Now, speaking of bushes, by the way, This video is being brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped was kind enough to sponsor me and my channel and even send me over their performance kit, which includes anything and everything you would need for manscaping and keeping yourself trimmed up and clean. You guys know how back during the Cold War beta, how those massive bushes on Cartel got in the way of everything and really impacted your ability to enjoy the map? Well, there's a real life parallel here, guys. Read between the lines. Nobody liked those bushes. Even after Treyarch trimmed them going into the full launch of the game, they're still annoying, right? Manscaped has designed the new Lawnmower 3.0 waterproof trimmer with skin-safe technology, and it works great. No nicks, no cuts, no ingrown hairs. Have you guys ever had an ingrown hair down there? Believe me, it's not fun. I've told the story many times on my Twitch channel, and every time the reaction is just sheer pain from the people who are listening. Believe me, you don't want that. With the Manscaped Performance Kit, you'll have everything you need to stay trimmed and clean, and I can say with 100% confidence that all their products are top-notch, and their cologne even is incredible. I wear it virtually every time I leave the house. Go to manscaped.com today and get 20% off, plus free international shipping, plus 2 free gifts when you use promo code NerosCinema at checkout. The Shed Travel Bag is super high quality, and the Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs are hands down the most comfortable boxers that I own. I'm not even joking, guys. Like, I seriously love these things. I didn't even know I needed anti-chafe boxers in my life, but now that I've experienced them, I'm a firm believer. So head over to manscaped.com and get started today. Thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring me and my channel, and be sure to use promo code NerosCinema at checkout. They have tons of great products for anyone and everybody. Go ahead and check them out. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right back into the video. Alright, thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video, but getting back into the patch notes here, a lot of score streaks have been changed today. I'm going to put all the changes on your screen right now. I'm going to try and quickly go through this as I don't want to spend too much time talking just about the score streaks, but the combat bow had its ammo reduced from 5 down to 4. The care package now costs 200 more score than it did previously. The sentry turret, which is awful, one of the worst score streaks in the game, had its cost reduced by 200 score. The napalm has had its cost increased by 400 score. The air patrol has been reduced by 500 score, but really, air patrol is so pointless in this game, but regardless, it got reduced. It's now much cheaper than before. The artillery now costs 500 more score, which I would say the artillery is one of the better score streaks in the entire game. Holy goodness, the cruise missile, which is definitely very good, had its cost increased by 900 score, and the war machine, which I would argue is the best overall score streak in this game, has had its cost increased by 500. Now, this is very interesting to me, right? Real quick, I want to show you guys my combat record. This is my combat record with the attack helicopter. I have called in 6 of them total, and I have earned 1 kill between all 6 of them, because the attack helicopter was god-awful, right? It could also be shot down by the default RPD class pretty much immediately. Well, the attack helicopter has been changed. They increased its cost by 500, which when you first look at that, you're like, what? It's already useless. Why are you making it cost more? But they also increased its damage by 50%, which is pretty good. They increased its health by 500 hit points. They decreased the duration of the screen shake from bullet impacts, which I guess is kind of a nerf. And they also reduced the amount of time that the helicopter will stay in one place before relocating. I think that was actually one of the biggest downsides to the attack helicopter, is it would kind of just fly off to a pointless part of the map and then just hover there doing nothing throughout most of its duration. Well, apparently that's been changed, and hopefully the attack helicopter is a bit better than it was previously. The VTOL escort has had its cost reduced from 8,500 down to 8,000, and they also increased the turret burst length and reduced its cooldown time. I haven't personally used the VTOL escort yet, but apparently it's a little bit better now. And the chopper gunner has also been changed. They increased its cost from 6,000 to 6,500, which is kind of crazy, but they also reduced the movement on the gun when firing. So here's some chopper gunner gameplay. I've earned a number of these so far here in Cold War. It's hard to control. Man, it really is. It was really hard to control. Like, I would be trying to shoot down on the B flag, but I simply could not kill the people that were there because I didn't really have good control of the gun itself. Well, apparently that has been changed, and the chopper gunner is going to be a little bit easier to use now than it was previously, which is some pretty good news. Honestly, I was kind of hoping that they would reduce the score for the AC-130, because the gunship in this game costs 10,000 score, which is obscene. But they didn't change that yet today, though I fully expect them to reduce that at some point in the relatively near future. future. Now moving along here to bugs and progression, Treyarch has finally confirmed that the ranks that we see next to our player cards are indeed our accurate ranks. In the after action report, our ranks are higher, but this is confirmed to be a bug, and this is my theory as to how this happened. Because we quote-unquote prestiged into Prestige 1, perhaps the after action report is showing what our ranks would be had we actually been reset back to level 1, where progression would be much faster. Because we are using this new seasonal leveling system, each of our 100 seasonal ranks that are currently available take a set amount of XP per rank, not too unlike how Prestige Master levels worked back in Black Ops 4. Had we actually prestiged normally, then levels 1 through 30, for example, would have gone super quick compared to levels 31 through 55, and I think that's why in our after action report, our level is much higher than what we see actually in-game. Treyarch is aware of this, they are apparently working on a fix for this, and in fact, they have an entire section in the patch notes where they go over the known bugs in the game that they plan to fix, but were not part of today's update. This includes calling cards resetting after every single match, and the chopper gunner on Crossroads Strike following its ground war pathing as compared to its 6v6 pathing, and I think at the very least it's good that Treyarch is aware of all these issues, and they plan to fix them as soon as possible. Again, I'll leave a link to the full patch notes down in the description, but today I wanted to cover what I believe to be the most important changes, which of course are the balance updates to the multiplayer weapons and the multiplayer score streaks. Black Ops Cold War has been plagued by so many glitches and so many bugs since launch. It's very clear that this game was rushed and also had one of the roughest development cycles in Call of Duty history, but I still stand by what I said during my initial review. The core design of Black Ops Cold War is good, the foundation for which they plan to build the game upon is great, and while yes, it's very unfortunate that we can never get a full working game at launch anymore, Black Ops Cold War is going to only get better from here, and I'm definitely excited about what the future is going to hold. Before we wrap up today's video, I want to give another thanks to today's sponsor, Manscaped. Be sure to use the link down in the description because that makes them like me a whole lot more. But yeah, that's going to conclude the third video of the day. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, consider leaving a like, leave your thoughts and feedback on all these changes down in the comments, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.